My name is Rhana Bazzini, and I'm 81 years old, and I am walking to Tallahassee. And the reason I'm doing this is I had an inspiration by a wonderful woman named Doris Haddock, who got the handle Granny D, because back in 1999, at the age of 89, she walked the whole United States. So what I'm doing is a very small fraction of what she did. Doris was an oak tree, and I am just an acorn. And she lived to be, she was very instrumental in getting the McCain-Feingold finance bill passed. And at that time, innocents that we were, we thought, oh, we're on the right track, things are going well, and we were really, really very happy. Well, those of you who are politically active, which I think it's most everybody in this room, realizes that got totally dismantled. Well, Doris lived to be 100, and 2 months before she died, in January of 2010, Citizens United came down from the Supreme Court. And she was with it enough to know what had happened, and she made the statement that everything I walked for, everything I went to jail for, has just been dismantled. And a tsunami has been opened of special interest money to go into our elections. And she died shortly thereafter, and years have gone by. I was not that politically active. I was always interested. I followed things, but I had never really been an activist. I'd spent a lot of time taking care of my mother, my sister, and my husband. And my mother and sister passed away. My husband died in June of 2013, which was a little more than a year ago. And all of a sudden, about a month after his death, I'm sitting in my living room and I'm thinking, oh my God, I have got a lot of time on my hands and I need something to do. Now, I look upon life as a racetrack.
You that likes analogies, you're going to love this.
This is us coming through the starting gate, and I've been extremely fortunate. Every decade has been better than the decade before. I would never go back below 50, but I am past that now. So I was approaching my 80th birthday, and I'm rounding the bend on this racetrack, and I can see the finish line. And I said to myself, before I cross that finish line, I want to do something to make the world a better place. So I had to think of a project. I had to think of something that captured my imagination. And like all of you, this, by the way, is my PowerPoint. Because I'm not, look at me, yes, I am not really technologically talented. So I'm thinking of all of the issues, and I picture a wheel. And every spoke in that wheel is an issue that's important. The environment, education, the budget, climate, healthcare, veterans issues. These are all very, very important issues, and they're all things that I was really concerned about. And I figured, I gotta focus. What is the hub of the wheel that connects all these issues? And it's how we elect the people that represent us. Because all of these issues depend on the decisions that they make. Notice how technology that is? Okay, so that was going to be my issue, campaign finance. And I don't like to use the expression campaign finance reform because it is an EGO, eyes glaze over. And there's certain terms when you hear, when you say campaign finance reform, eyes glaze, what do you mean? What is that all about? So I really like to think of it in terms of our votes and how they are counted and how they are weighed. And that's where the money is speech aspect comes in. Now, I have heard very intelligent, bright lawyers argue the case that money is speech. And they can make something that sounds logical, but it's the premise that it's based on that doesn't make sense to most of us. And as Granny D said, if money is speech, then speech ain't free. Because logically, the more money you have, the louder your voice. So we really want to make our votes equal. Okay, so that's that aspect of it. And then the other aspect, of course, is corporations are people. And my very, very famous thing to say, or favorite, I should say, I belong to the Florida Veterans for Common Sense, and they are just a wonderful group of guys. I'm their den mother, and I certainly hope they're behaving while I'm on the road. One of the vets came up with the expression, I will believe corporations are people when I see one come home in a body bag. And I don't think you can be more explicit than that. Okay, so now how are we going to go about it? I talk to people and they say, oh, throw all the bums out. Just get rid of everybody there. And I said, nah, that's not going to actually do it. So I think you that like analogies, you're going to love this. Okay, think of our government as this automobile. It's not in very good shape. The wheels are flat, the roof is leaking, the doors are hanging up. And it doesn't make any difference which one of these people we put in the driver's seat, because it ain't going to go. So we have to fix the system. It's not necessarily the people, not that the people that are in office are wonderful, but it's more the problem that the system is broken. So we fix the system, and then we can worry about who we put in the driver's seat. So many of you know that there are many organizations, probably Move to Amend is the primary one that is trying to overturn Citizens United and McCutcheon. And the way they're going about it is they're going to try to amend the Constitution. It would be the 28th Amendment. And I hear people throw their arms up. It's too complicated, you've got too much to do, and it ain't going to happen. And I said, well, we have done it 27 times. So it's not impossible, but it's not easy. But something well worth doing is rarely easy. And I just think, going back, think how long it took to overturn slavery. The people who started working on it never lived to see it happen. When we were going to get the women's vote, some of the women that were tortured and killed to get votes for women never lived to see it happen. And this is something that someone pointed out to me on my way when we were talking about votes. And she said, when I think of what people have suffered and gone through to get a vote, I can't possibly not vote. And I think that's important. And I think it's really important to vote in local elections, because that affects our life. Who's on the school board certainly affects your life a lot more than who's in the White House. So this is what we're working on. We're going to try to get the amendment that will overturn McCutcheon and Citizens United. The speech, money is not speech, and corporations are not people. Don't you love my artwork? I'm so sorry Anne isn't here. She might want to put these in her gallery.
Roger can frame them.
So this is what I've been working on, but again, I know this was such a wonderful thing. The other day when I was at a biker bar, and there was this lovely lady there with her little grandchild, and I thought, maybe she works there or whatever. She said, no, I heard you were going to be here, and I wanted to bring my grandchild to see someone that a single person can make a change. And I said, that's very sweet, but there's a big village in back of me. And analogies, I love people that think in analogies, because I think of this whole thing as an edifice. And there's people that did the foundation, and there's the electricians, and there are the plumbers, and the wall people, and those are the people that put together this. I am just the paint, and that's what you see, and that's what and that's really, you know, I got all of this behind me, but I'm the one that you see because I'm the paint on the front of the building. And these are grassroots, in case you didn't know that. And these are the grassroots organizations that have been in back of all of this work that we've been doing. Move to Amend, Common Cause, UU Churches, there's a whole bunch of them. And without everybody working together, there's no way that this could happen. And I just want to say that I'm very optimistic because we are making progress. The Senate actually voted on an amendment. It got majority, 54, including our Senator Nelson, not our Senator Rubio. But the 54 senators voted for it, and of course now you need the 60 votes. But the very fact it was even brought up is real progress. So I really think it's a tipping point, and that, you know, what I'm doing is just, I'm being the mouthpiece. I'm spreading the word, because most people have lives, they're working, they don't have the time to do it, and I'm fortunate enough to. We can't all be oak trees, but we all can be acorns. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.